Seeking natural solutions for your health and wellness? Look no further than Garden Root Remedy. We offer handcrafted herbal tinctures, salves, teas, and more made with only the highest quality organic herbs. We provide personalized consultations to help you find the perfect herbal remedy for your specific needs. Experience the power of nature's healing touch. Visit Garden Root Remedy online at gardenrootremedy.com. That's gardenrootremedy.com. Rooted in nature, blooming with wellness.
Hello, it's your favorite president telling Todd Huff listeners about Mega Milk Protein Powder. That's what we're calling it, Mega Milk. It's protein for patriots, okay? American-made Mega Milk destroys dad bods and builds a big, beautiful wall of mega muscle on your entire body. So true. Don't buy protein made in China. You'll be a total disaster, a weak loser. Your workouts are winning. Drink Mega Milk. Go to MegaMuscle.com and put some Trump in your pump. MegaMuscle.com.
Attention, you're listening to the Todd Huff Radio Show, America's home for conservative, not bitter talk radio. Be advised that the content of this program has been documented to prevent and even cure liberalism, and listening may cause you to lean to the right. Here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
Well, that is right, my friends. You have tuned in successfully and wisely to America's home for conservative, not bitter talk. I am your host, the one and only Todd Huff. It's a pleasure, as always, to be here today, my friends. Got a lot of stuff in the stack of stuff. I want to start with tariffs. Yesterday, of course, was the day that tariffs were going to be implemented. New tariffs that were designed to be reciprocating tariffs. And so I want to talk about that today. There's actually a lot of stuff in the stack of stuff, including some news that are the folks that are engaged in this economic struggle, this trade war, if you will, are already showing signs of concession. In fact, one of the premiers in Canada said that Canada will drop all of their tariffs, all of them, if Trump does, which is the entire point. This is the entire point of why Trump is doing this, to get fair and free trade between these countries, our nation and others around the world who have been penalizing American companies with their exports for a long, long time. So we'll get to that. We'll also get to something that could potentially derail all of this, that involves a senator that I have respect for, Rand Paul, 4 Republicans. I'll get to all this in due course, my friends. That's just the direction that we are headed here today on the program. Friends, if you are in sales, let me ask you this. Are you where you want to be? Because whether you're struggling to close deals or you just want to sharpen your skills, Matt Easton and Easton University is here to help you. And if you become a student of Easton University and you go through Matt Easton's training program, you attend his weekly coaching. He's got 2 weekly coaching calls where you can join the group and ask questions, get coaching. Good stuff, my friends. He will, if you sign up through our partnership here at the Todd Huff Show with Easton University, you're going to get an individual welcome call with Matt where he will walk you through your specific sales challenges and help you get on track as quickly as possible. This is not cookie cutter training. It's personalized coaching from one of the best in the business. If you follow Matt's system, it will absolutely pay off, my friends. I don't care what industry, whether for you or for the sales team, if you're a sales manager, maybe you're an owner of a company. This is something that we've done here at our program. So you have to take the first step. The first step is going to toddhuffshow.com/Easton, EASTON, toddhuffshow.com/Easton. Claim your spot on with Easton University. Get that welcome call with Matt, toddhuffshow.com/Easton. Do not let this opportunity pass you by, my friends. Invest in yourself. Invest in your sales career. It is worth it. It will pay dividends. All right, let's talk here about these tariffs. So I want to start, where do I want to start? I want to start with, with what is the news coming out of Canada. Premier Doug Ford, he is the premier in Ontario, Canada. He's on, is this CNBC? I think it was. Let me make sure before I say that. But he's on a television interview, and he is talking here. Yeah, CNBC's Squawk Box. And he's being asked about tariffs. He's being asked about the back and forth tariffs between the United States, Canada, trying to solve this problem, right? Economists want this problem solved. They want these tariffs to go away. All Americans want this problem solved and this problem to go away as quickly as possible. And so there's an exchange that he has here on CNBC's Squawk Box with the hosts of this program. And I want you to listen carefully to what he says because my friends, what he says is the stated and intended purpose of the tariffs as issued by President Donald J. Trump. So the whole purpose of tariffs, let me pause before I play this soundbite. The entire purpose of tariffs is to get countries, these retaliatory tariffs in a way, is to get the countries who have tariffs on U.S. products, on U.S. imports to their countries, get those tariffs eliminated. And the message is simple, and honestly, the simplicity is brilliant. Listen, Trump could say, if you don't want to pay tariffs, if you don't want to have that as an obstacle when you're importing here to the United States, then eliminate the ones that you charge us. Because all I'm going to do, frankly, and of course there are exceptions, but in general, Trump's saying, I am going to hold a mirror up to you. If you have a 10% tariff, you're going to see a 10% tariff on stuff that you try to send to the United States. If it's 25%, whatever it is, I'm going to hold this mirror up. And if you want the tariff that I'm going to institute upon you, that I am going to put on your imports coming to this country, if you don't like that, then you have a simple remedy to eliminate yours. It is a brilliant thing. Treat others the way you want to be treated. It's right there for anybody who cares to hear it, who cares to know it, who cares to understand it. So, here he is, the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, on CNBC Squawk Box talking about tariffs. I want you to listen to this.
And listening to the president later today. But even before we get there, have you had any meaningful conversations with this administration about what these tariffs could look like?
I have, Andrew. And first of all, thanks for having me on. And I always start every interview. Canadians love Americans. I love America. And they're just an incredible neighbor. And saying all that, I had a conversation last week with Secretary Lutnick and just told him how we feel. It's going to hurt Americans. It's going to hurt American jobs. It's going to hurt investments. We've seen the market tumble. I'm sure it's going to start tumbling again today because people don't want uncertainty. Markets don't want uncertainty.
That's true.
And I've never seen anything like it. Attacking your number one customer, President Trump is, not the American people. President Trump's attacking their number one ally, their number one customer. And it's going to be unfortunate. He calls it Liberation Day. I call it Termination Day because people are going to be losing their jobs across the U.S. You can't just all of a sudden put tariffs on every part and every widget that comes across the border. Ontario alone employs over 9 million people. They wake up every single morning to produce products for Ontario. That's Ontario alone, not mentioning the entire country.
Okay, pause before I get to the next part. Notice what he's doing here, right? He knows in order to win this battle, he knows that what he has to do is walk a very thin line. He, the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, he's being interviewed on CNBC Squawk Box here. He understands what he has to do is walk a very, very thin line. And that thin line separates this idea of making it personal with Trump, targeting Trump specifically. You'll notice he went out of his way 2 times in that clip that we just played, and there's more to come, 2 times. He said, he made it clear that the beef was with Trump and not the American people. Trump is the one that's wreaking havoc on the situation, not the American people. He's got tremendous respect for the American people. He knows that the media has done its level best to demonize and destroy Trump over a decade. He knows that a pretty large chunk of the American people already do not like Trump because of that. In fact, they are blinded, some of them, by their rage and hatred for the president, just like they're blinded by their rage and hatred for Elon Musk, which now spills over to their hatred of Tesla, Tesla drivers, Tesla dealerships, Tesla charging stations. Maybe if you just say the word Tesla. I've got news on that. In fact, we covered some news on that today in our Todd Talk, which you can find on our website. But the interview here, the purpose from Mr. Ford's position is to continue to try to divide and conquer. If he can get enough political pressure put upon Trump to where the Senate acts or something happens to prevent Trump loses the will of the people, I don't know, something along those lines, they know that in a head-to-head battle, they cannot win. That is what he's going to have to do. He needs the help of the American media. Doug Ford, the premier of Ontario. He needs the help of the American media. He needs the American people to apply political pressure internally. Otherwise, Canada cannot win this. They cannot win this. This is the only thing about this for a moment. The only way Canada can win is if there's enough political pressure asserted domestically that causes the American people to prefer Canada's position on these tariffs over America's position on these tariffs, or a couple of other avenues they've got as well, which we'll talk about one of those in a moment. So that's the first thing to understand. Tariffs, this war over tariffs cannot be won by the Canadians unless something politically causes them to come apart in the United States. And that's what he knows. That's why he's appealing to the American people, making sure that he focuses all of his criticism not on America, but President Trump specifically. America is his friend, his ally. He loved the American people. He's going out of his way to hammer this point home to say, my beef is not with you. My beef is with him. He's the one that's causing all of this for everyone. That's his argument. But the point is, which the host asked him in a very good display of journalism here, if that's really the case, why do you guys have the tariffs? So that being said, let's continue this interview.
Do you expect this to be a negotiation, meaning there has been a sense implied or otherwise that we're going to hear a number, whether it's 20% or something else, as a sort of top, and that if folks like yourself come forward and say, you know what, we're going to take some tariffs off of this and we're going to do this, perhaps that those tariff numbers come down?
Well, let's hope so. Let's sit down and discuss this, because it's just going to hurt American jobs. I can't stress it enough. And, you know, again, he believes he's supporting Americans. He said he was going to create jobs, create wealth, reduce inflation. It's worked the total opposite. Inflation. But
do you think it's fair that you have tariffs on a whole number of products?
Yes.
That's right. And we'd be willing to take those off tomorrow if he took all the tariffs off. We are not the problem.
Did you hear that? He just said that in passing because he was asked here on Squawk Box. Host Andrew Ross Sorkin said, if you're going to negotiate this, you guys have tariffs, right? I mean, you're just blaming Trump for his tariffs. What about your tariffs? He said that Canada would be willing if the American people, Trump, got rid of his tariffs targeting Canada, that they would eliminate all of their tariffs. This is what he said. Ross Sorkin said this, but do you think it's fair that you have tariffs on a whole number of products? That's a fair question. This is what journalism does. Congratulations here, Mr. Sorkin, for what you are pointing out here. Ford said this, "That's right, and we'd be willing to take those off tomorrow if he took all the tariffs off." He continues to say, "We are not the problem." Andrew, do you know who the problem is? China is the problem. In fact, let me just play the rest of this. But I want to pause there for a moment. In fact, let me back this up a few seconds so that you can hear his response.
Fair. You have tariffs on a whole number of products.
That's right. And we'd be willing to take those off tomorrow if he took all the tariffs off.
That's huge.
We are not the problem. Andrew, do you know what the problem is? China's the problem. And he's taking a blind eye to China as they continue to build their critical mineral mass. We have all the critical minerals that our great neighbors need. We have the energy that our great neighbors need.
I just want to go back for a moment. If in fact you're prepared to take your tariffs off, why wouldn't you have that negotiation and that conversation now?
Right now.
Before any tariffs get put in place?
Well, we've had this conversation for over the last month. We don't want tariffs. We have another.
Then why are we here? This is relying upon the stupidity of American people, because if you don't want tariffs, then you just said you would eliminate all tariffs if Trump did. Trump has made it clear that that's what he wants. This is the stated purpose. This is not some sort of a confusing scenario here. You have been levying tariffs on American products for a long time, some of them incredibly high tariffs. Now, many of them don't get activated because there are a certain number of products that must be imported before that tariff is activated. But it's there. It's definitely something that people are mindful of. They don't want to get to the point to where they import something and have to pay a well over 100% tariff on something. And so this is exactly the reason why Trump did this to begin with. You know, it's funny to me. Trump is savvy. Trump is smart. He's playing, people say he's playing chess. They're playing checkers. He's playing 4D chess. They're playing checkers. Trump, I don't want to take anything away from Trump's strategy here, but a lot of it is just very simple. And for those who just have sense, this is obviously where we were going to end up eventually. There was really the only thing that would have prevented this from being uttered by the lips of Premier Ford here is if something were to happen politically, as I mentioned earlier, here in the United States, that would prevent Trump from having these negotiations and being able to put this pressure on Canada. This is exactly what Trump wants. This is Trump's whole point. If you want to know, if you've tuned in here and you are someone who's left of center, first of all, welcome. You and I will get along so much as it is up to me. I've learned that some people are happy to reciprocate. I've learned that others can't stand it, and that's all right. It doesn't hurt my feelings. We'll be just fine without you. But I hope that you stick around, if for no other reason, to hear me say what I'm about to say. A lot of people on the left misunderstand Trump. If you want a huge understanding, if you want to understand a lot of what Trump does, understand this, what I'm about to say here. Trump is a businessman. Trump he's not just a guy who has a business or multiple businesses. He's a guy who lives and breathes his businesses. He's a guy who loves what he does. He has no intention of ever stopping. It's part of who he is. I can relate. Again, I'm not like Trump in many ways. I'm not saying that, but I can relate when I think about doing something like this show. The concept of retiring is foreign to me. You retire to do things that you love, right? You stop. I don't have to work for a living anymore. I do things that I love. But if I'm doing what I love, what would I retire for? Why would I stop doing what I love? I think a lot of people maybe can't relate to that starting point. Trump loves it. He lives it. He breathes it. He understands it. He has an aggressive style. He knows how to apply pressure. He understands just the basics of not just the basics, but he has an understanding of the basics of negotiation, trying to figure out what it is that motivates the other person, what the other person is looking to accomplish, helping them to achieve it, but also understanding where he can apply pressure to a situation to force action. And that's what he's done here. And it's not just tariffs. Some people get so caught up in this particular element of Trump's way of governing this great nation. It's not just tariffs. I mean, this is the same mindset that goes to other parts of foreign policy as well. It's the same mindset that causes Trump to question why our allies are not paying what they told us they were going to pay into NATO. It comes down to Trump's criticism of why Europe expects the United States to defend so much of the continent when they don't seem to want to defend it themselves, instead choosing to put their money into these socialist utopias because they don't have to provide for as much military might because they've got the big brother of the United States of America standing there daring someone, not literally of course, but daring someone to do something in that part of the world. And Trump's bottom line here is that he's tired of America being taken advantage of. He's tired of the American people bearing the burden. Because what happens is it's not free and fair trade if one country, it's not enough for us to say we don't like tariffs, because I don't like tariffs in general when it comes to this concept of free trade. Now, there's arguments to be made if we eliminated all other taxation and we had tariffs, that's another conversation for another day. But conceptually, when it comes just to free trade and the scenario that we have today, given all the other taxes we pay, it is an additional burden on the American taxpayer. So, but Trump says, look, it's not free trade if we don't have a tariff on your product, but you're putting a tariff on our product. Why is it free trade? That's not free. That's not fair. I'm not going to stand for that anymore. America is tired of bearing the burden. Our businesses are tired of not being able to engage in free trade equally in your countries while you're sending stuff over here left and right. I'm tired of trade deficits when I see them, and I want to put an end to them. I'm tired of America funding the world's military. I'm tired of America being the one that everyone looks to solve the world's problems. I'm tired of all this stuff. I'm tired of watching China be held to no standard whatsoever when it comes to emissions and everything else. We're the cleanest, what we've got here in this country and our levels of emissions compared to places like China and India. We're massively, massively ahead of them. Why do we have to continue to tighten our belts when they can seem to do whatever they want? Trump's just tired of the double standard. He's tired of that from just a common sense perspective, but also from the perspective that it puts burden on the people living here. We're playing by a different set of rules. We are held to a higher standard. The rest of the world seems to be able to do whatever it wants to do, blame the United States for everything, expect the United States to pay for it, which seems to be what's been happening as Doge has uncovered a bunch of this stuff. And so that's the concept, that's the thinking, that's why we're here. And as I look at the clock, it's why I've got to take a break, because the clock tells me it is time to stop this segment, my friends. So, got to take a quick time out. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, back here in just a minute.
Seeking natural solutions for your health and wellness? Look no further than Garden Root Remedy. We offer handcrafted herbal tinctures, salves, teas, and more made with only the highest quality organic herbs. We provide personalized consultations to help you find the perfect herbal remedy for your specific needs. Experience the power of nature's healing touch. Visit Garden Root Remedy online at gardenrootremedy.com. That's gardenrootremedy.com. Rooted in nature, blooming with wellness.
Hello, it's your favorite president telling Todd Huff listeners about MAGA Milk Protein Powder. That's what we're calling it, MAGA Milk. It's protein for patriots, okay? American-made MAGA milk destroys dad bods and builds a big, beautiful wall of MAGA muscle on your entire body. So true. Don't buy protein made in China. You'll be a total disaster, a weak loser. Your workouts are winning. Drink MAGA milk. Go to MAGAmuscle.com and put some Trump in your pump. MAGAmuscle.com.
Gear up, level up. Tired of the same old gun shop experience? Red Team Armory is not just selling firearms. We're providing a VIP experience. Rifles, handguns, shotguns, top-tier optics, unbeatable ammo prices. We've got you covered. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're dedicated to helping you find the perfect setup. Fast shipping and expert advice. Visit us online at todd.redteamarmory.com. Red Team Armory. Your mission, our gear.
Welcome back, my friends. So, I want to pick up where we left off last segment. Actually, I want to back it up and play a little bit more of the soundbite. But for those of you who may just be joining us, when folks are listening on the radio in particular, they might jump in at different points in time. On a podcast, it's a little different. You can pause it, you can come back later and all that stuff. But listening on the radio is a little bit different animal. People are listening starting at different points in time. What we're talking about here is the tariffs, which Trump, of course, initiated some reciprocating tariffs as of yesterday. And Canada here, the Ontario Premier, Doug Ford, was on CNBC's Squawk Box, and he said that Canada, would be willing to take these tariffs off tomorrow if Trump took the tariffs off. This is precisely the purpose of the tariffs. Now, at the end of last segment, I explained, for those who may not understand, and again, we've got people all over the political spectrum that listens to this program. Most of you are conservative, libertarian types, limited government types, constitutionalists, love this nation. Some are not that, and that's okay. I hope we persuade you to reconsider your position. But some folks don't have an understanding of Trump. And so I spent some time at the very end of last segment explaining that Trump is tired of the United States being the one who pays for everything. Trump is tired of the United States having to carry an unfair burden, and he's tired of the impact that has on families. It costs us money. It causes stress. It takes away opportunities. Trump says enough. I'm tired of it. I wouldn't have put up with these lopsided, one-sided negotiations in my business, and I'm not going to put up with it here. And so this is what Trump has wanted from the beginning with this. Canada has known this. Premier Ford is admitting this, but yet he's still blaming Trump as being the problem, when all Canada has to do is drop its tariffs and Trump will do the same. So I'm going to back up the soundbite where he says this. I want to play it, talk about it a little bit more this segment. Before I do that, though, my friends, let me tell you that if you love seafood, you got to check out Kenai Fish. Kenai Fish is spelled Kenai. Kenai Fish, family-owned company, delivers wild-caught seafood straight to your door from the waters of Alaska. So we're talking Alaskan seafood from Alaska to you, no matter where you are in this great nation. Their salmon, which includes sockeye, coho, and king, is harvested from the pristine Kenai and Castleoff rivers. It's vacuum sealed. It's shipped next day air to lock in that fresh, just caught flavor. But friends, it doesn't stop there. They've also got halibut from the Gulf of Alaska, which, yes, is not the same as the Gulf of America. It's mild, it's sweet, and it's perfect for a whole bunch of recipes, my friends. And they've got shellfish as well, king crab, snow crab, scallops. It's the best Alaska has to offer. I can detect your mouth watering as I say these things. Kenai Fish is about quality, sustainability, and supporting hard-working fishermen. Go to KenaiFish.com today. That's Kenai, KenaiFish.com. If you use promo code Todd, you will save 15% off your order. Again, that's Kenai Fish, KenaiFish.com. You'll taste the difference, my friends, and you'll be hooked. Let's return to this soundbite from Ontario's Premier, Doug Ford. Again, I want you to hear the question that's asked by host Andrew Ross Sorkin about these tariffs. Premier Doug Ford just glosses over what's a huge announcement. He just passes right by it, and the host wisely said, whoa. You're willing to do this. Have you told the administration? It seems like this is pretty important to tell them today, because if you want to stop these tariffs from being furthered, put into action, harming economic activity between our countries even more, then you probably should get on the phone here and let Trump know that what he's been asking for from the beginning is now something that you are apparently, if you're telling us the truth, you are willing to do. So here's that exchange in full context. I'll let this play for a moment, and we'll continue our discussion here.
But do you think it's fair that you have tariffs on a whole number of products?
That's right. And we'd be willing to take those off tomorrow if he took all the tariffs off. We are not the problem, Andrew. Do you know the problem is? China's the problem. And he's taking a blind eye to China as they continue to build their critical mineral mass. We have all the critical minerals that our great neighbors need. We have the energy that our great neighbors need.
I just want to go back for a moment. If, in fact, you're prepared to take your tariffs off, why wouldn't you have that negotiation and that conversation now?
Right now.
Before any tariffs get put in place?
Well, we've had this conversation for over the last month. We don't want tariffs. We have another $65 billion worth of tariffs to launch today. That's the last thing we want to do, because it's just, again, it's going to hurt both countries. It's going to hurt American workers. That's the last thing I want.
No, Andrew meant take the other ones off, not the ones you're launching today. The ones that you already got.
You're saying you take all your tariffs off. I'm saying
we will take them off. That's right.
Then why is that not? I guess my question is, why has all of that not already happened? And does President Trump know that you'd be prepared to do that?
He knows, and Secretary Lutnick knows that we're willing to take these tariffs off like in the next minute if he said he's taking their tariffs off. So let's look at the auto sector.
So how much of this then is some kind of theatrical dance between both yourself, frankly, and the administration? I mean, it sounds to me like if you're prepared to take yours off right now, he should be prepared to take whatever we would implement, and we wouldn't have this conversation. What I can't figure out is whether both of you are waiting so that you can say that you've both won in some way.
Andrew, let me be very clear. We didn't start this tariff war. A tariff on Canada is a tax on Americans.
It's enough of this. The double talk and the inconsistencies and the logical just craziness of this. What do you mean you didn't start the trade war? You're the ones that have had tariffs on our products. What do you mean if Trump institutes new ones, only asking you to remove the ones that you already have? So you have a different standard than the United States have. Why is it good for you and not for us? Why are new tariffs damaging to economic relations, but existing tariffs not? None of this makes any sense. He's blaming China. He's blaming President Trump. He's saying we didn't start this. We're willing to take these away, all the tariffs, in 1 minute if Trump says that that's what he's willing to do. Okay, then Trump has said that. Then he said, and listen, Trump's position is, as much as you can hate him, you can be bothered by this, you can be annoyed by this, you can whatever. You can hate tariffs, but Trump's position is logical. Trump says they've got tariffs. Okay, you had time to know. You knew April 2nd was coming. I remember when Trump made this announcement. I remember it because of one of the things Trump said, and this is why Trump is intentionally entertaining. It makes people remember what he says more easily for them to retain. And so he said, look, we were going to do this on April 1st, but they were concerned in my administration that it would sound like an April Fool's Day joke. So April 2nd, this is coming. You knew that this was coming, Premier Doug Ford. This is not a surprise. This is out there. You knew that you had your tariffs. Your tariffs were in place long before April 2nd. Your tariffs were in place long before Donald Trump was calling you out for having tariffs. Your tariffs are the problem. Trump says, listen, if you want to avoid new tariffs, get rid of yours. April 2nd is when I'm instituting them. I don't know what else to tell you. That's what we're going to do. You had until April 2nd. April 2nd has now come. You can't say now to Trump, take yours away and I'll take ours away. I don't know if that's what he's saying here, but Trump's made it clear. Now it's your job. He gave you time to stop the tariffs. Now he's not going to do anything until you act. Take your tariffs away and then hold Trump accountable. See if he's going to follow through. I mean, this is exactly what he's sought from the very beginning. I suppose if he doesn't take our tariffs away, which he will, I suppose if he doesn't, you could simply reinstitute the tariffs that you have in place now. But the move is yours, Canada, the 51st state of the United States. The move is yours. You had time. You were the ones who were playing by a different set of rules for all these years. You were the ones who were taking advantage of your big brother here, who's taken care of you, protected you, provided so much good for you. Listen, you've done good for us too, but it's not the same. I mean, the United States is a wonderful country to be allied with, to be closely allied with. You would think that you would be more grateful. You would think that you would see that you are, in fact, not China, not Trump, but you are the ones who have led us to this point. It's easy to see for those who are free thinkers and objective here. I have to take a timeout, my friends. Clock's telling me the segment's up. Quick timeout. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Seeking natural solutions for your health and wellness? Look no further than Garden Root Remedy. We offer handcrafted herbal tinctures, salves, teas, and more made with only the highest quality organic herbs. We provide personalized consultations to help you find the perfect herbal remedy for your specific needs. Experience the power of nature's healing touch. Visit Garden Root Remedy online at gardenrootremedy.com. That's gardenrootremedy.com. Rooted in nature, blooming with wellness.
Hello, it's your favorite president telling Todd Huff listeners about Mega Milk Protein Powder. That's what we're calling it, Mega Milk. It's protein for patriots, okay? American-made Mega Milk destroys dad bods and builds a big, beautiful wall of MAGA muscle on your entire body. So true. Don't buy protein made in China. You'll be a total disaster, a weak loser. Your workouts are winning. Drink Mega Milk. Go to MAGAmuscle.com and put some Trump in your pump. MAGAmuscle.com.
Gear up, level up. Tired of the same old gun shop experience? Red Team Armory is not just selling firearms. We're providing a VIP experience. Rifles, handguns, shotguns, top-tier optics, unbeatable ammo prices. We've got you covered. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're dedicated to helping you find the perfect setup. Fast shipping and expert advice. Visit us online at todd.redteamarmory.com. Red Team Armory. Your mission, our gear.
Welcome back, my friends. So, third and final segment of the first hour of the program today. It is flying by as usual. So, it's a remarkable thing. Here we are, exactly where Trump wanted to bring us using tariffs. Canada is now saying that, well, the premier of Ontario is anyway, saying that they would get rid of the tariffs in a second if Trump would get rid of his. But listen, you've known this for a month. Take your tariffs away. This is simple. This is not complicated. This is the only place we were going to end up unless, and this is a big but here, but for something that the Congress was able to do to prevent Trump from instituting these tariffs. And so that's where I want to move to next here in the time we have remaining in this hour, and I'll probably be starting there at the beginning of next hour as well. I want to remind you, friends, Mike Lindell, MyPillow, they say thank you for buying their products, for supporting them, for supporting this program. Thank you for continuing to support MyPillow. They want you to also know that they made a recent order, a big allotment of their bed sheets that were earmarked for box stores this spring. So the box stores ordered them, but the box stores backed out. It fell through, whatever. So that left MyPillow with a bunch of extra sheets. And so what they're going to do is pass that savings along to you. Since these box stores had placed such a big order, the box stores were getting wholesale pricing. MyPillow's left holding the goods without being able to pay for it. So now they said, look, we'll do the next best thing. We'll offer wholesale pricing to people with this particular order. And so they've got a series of sheets, Giza Dream Sheets and Percale bed sheets as well. These sheets are normally starting at $140. You can get them queen size for $70, $69.99. King size for $79.99. The Percale queen size sheets are normally $89.98. Those are on wholesale for $29.98. Or you can get king size for $39.98. Great deals. You can check them out. Get these special prices with promo code Todd at MyPillow.com. So MyPillow.com, promo code Todd. You'll get free shipping. Well, there's free shipping options that are available on your order. You'll find out more on the website there. This allotment will not last long. When they're gone, they're gone. The special will be over. So go to MyPillow.com, promo code Todd to take advantage of this special offer and to get those bed sheets at wholesale prices. MyPillow.com, promo code Todd. All right, so let me shift gears here just a bit. So I've talked about where we are with tariffs. I talked about where we're the only thing that could really derail a tariff. And now it's coming into view. So what can derail tariffs is, just have a couple of minutes here. So I'm trying to think of how to set this up, and then we'll get more into this in the next hour. But what could derail tariffs is if Congress takes away Trump's ability to initiate these tariffs. And so when Trump issued his executive order, part of what allowed him to take these sorts of actions was he was declaring a national emergency as it pertained to the smuggling of fentanyl across our borders. And so it is, if there's no national emergency that can be claimed, if Congress says that doesn't meet national security standards, then they can effectively block or overrule anything that comes from that declaration. And so there are 4 Republican senators who are apparently willing to cross that line and vote with Democrats to say that that is not a national security issue, or I should say a national emergency, as it pertains to fentanyl coming across our northern border. So here is the gist of it. This is a post on Truth Social from President Donald Trump. Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and Rand Paul, also of Kentucky, will hopefully get on the Republican bandwagon for a change and fight the Democrats' wild and flagrant push not to penalize Canada for the sale into our country of large amounts of fentanyl by tariffing the value of this horrible and deadly drug in order to make it more costly to distribute and buy. They are playing with the lives of the American people and right into the hands of the radical left Democrats and drug cartels. The Senate bill is just a ploy of the Dems to show and expose the weakness of certain Republicans, namely these 4, in that it is not going anywhere because the House will never approve it, and I, as your president, will never sign it. Why are they allowing fentanyl to pour into our country unchecked and without penalty? What is wrong with them other than suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, commonly known as TDS? Who can want this to happen to our beautiful families, and why? To the people, Trump continues, To the people of the great states of Kentucky, Alaska, and Maine, please contact these senators and get them to finally adhere to Republican values and ideals. They have been extremely difficult to deal with and unbelievably disloyal to hardworking Majority Leader John Thune and the Republican Party itself. Make America great again. So, talk about this on the other side of the break. I got to go this hour, my friends. Thank you for listening. SDG.
Seeking natural solutions for your health and wellness? Look no further than Garden Root Remedy. We offer handcrafted herbal tinctures, salves, teas, and more made with only the highest quality organic herbs. We provide personalized consultations to help you find the perfect herbal remedy for your specific needs. Experience the power of nature's healing touch. Visit Garden Root Remedy online at gardenrootremedy.com. That's gardenrootremedy.com. Rooted in nature, blooming with wellness.
Hello, it's your favorite president telling Todd Huff listeners about Mega Milk Protein Powder. That's what we're calling it, Mega Milk. It's protein for patriots, okay? American-made Mega Milk destroys dad bods and builds a big, beautiful wall of MAGA muscle on your entire body. So true. Don't buy protein made in China. You'll be a total disaster, a weak loser. Your workouts are winning. Drink Mega Milk. Go to MAGAmuscle.com and put some Trump in your pump. MAGAmuscle.com.